Number 7. Morris Marina, 1971 to 1980. British Leyland needed a car quickly. They took 18 months to design the Marina, and every one of those months showed in the finished product. The chassis and suspension were borrowed from the Morris Minor, a car that had been on sale since 1948. This meant the Marina was already outdated the day it arrived at dealerships, outclassed in handling and dynamics by the Ford Cortina it was supposed to compete with. Build quality reflected the industrial chaos inside British Leyland at the time. Factory strikes meant production was constantly rushed, and final quality checks were routinely skipped. The wipers were installed backwards because the design was so poor the blades lifted off the windscreen during use. Of the 807,000 Marinas built, just 120 survive on British roads today. The rest were consumed by rust and indifference in roughly equal measure. Number 6. Austin Allegro, 1973 to 1982. British Leyland described the Allegro as a modern family car for the 1970s. British drivers described it rather differently. The styling was immediately controversial, rounded, high-sided, and compared by critics to a brick on wheels. The handling was genuinely poor, with suspension geometry that made cornering an exercise in optimism. Rust arrived faster than most owners expected, attacking the body before the loan payments ended. The Allegro was underpowered for its weight, and mechanical reliability was inconsistent at best. Most notoriously, early models were fitted with a square steering wheel, a decision that solved no known problem while creating several new ones. British Leyland's own engineers reportedly considered it a step backward from the cars it replaced. It was discontinued in 1982 without ceremony, replaced by cars that were only marginally less embarrassing. Number 5. Triumph Stag, 1970 to 1977. The Triumph Stag looked like a car that could compete with the best European convertibles of its era. The V8 engine sounded magnificent, and then it overheated. The Stag's 3.0-liter V8 was developed specifically for this car, which meant it arrived without the decades of refinement that made other engines reliable. Coolant passages were poorly designed, causing the engine to run hot under normal conditions. Overheating warped cylinder heads. Timing chains stretched. The repair costs were significant, and parts were difficult to source. British Leyland, which owned Triumph at the time, identified the problems and chose not to fix them. The engine's fundamental design flaws were never properly addressed across the car's entire production run. Just 25,877 Stags were built before production ended in 1977. The car it could have been remains one of British motoring's most discussed missed opportunities. Number 4. Rover S D1, 1976 to 1986. The Rover SD1 won Car of the Year in Europe for 1977. That award aged about as well as the car's electrical system. The SD1 looked genuinely modern and ambitious. A large executive car with a hatchback body and available V8 power that seemed to promise something genuinely competitive with European rivals. What it delivered was an electrical system that failed regularly and without pattern, a V8 engine known to overheat, and build quality that deteriorated faster than the price tag suggested it should. Rover's dealer network was ill-equipped to diagnose or repair the electrical problems consistently. Owners who bought on the strength of the Car of the Year award discovered that award-winning design and reliable engineering were, in the SD1's case, entirely unrelated achievements. The car was eventually discontinued in 1986 without a direct successor. Number 3. Austin Metro, 1980 to 1990. British Leyland spent years promising a genuine replacement for the original Mini, the most important small car Britain had ever produced. The Metro was that replacement. It rusted on warm summer days. The build quality that had made the original Mini a landmark achievement was entirely absent from its supposed successor. The Metro was underdeveloped in ways that experienced engineers had warned about before production began, but British Leyland's financial situation left no time for proper development. The electrical systems were unreliable. Interior materials degraded quickly. The car sold reasonably well because nothing better was available at the price, which is a different thing from being good. The original Mini had been exactly right for its moment. The Metro was a reminder that being first is not the same as being correct. Number 2. Triumph, TR7, 1975 to 1981. When the famous Italian designer Giorgetto Giugiaro walked around the TR7 at its launch, he reportedly stopped, looked at the styling and said, "My God, they've done the same on this side as well." That reaction from one of the world's greatest automotive designers summarized the TR7's reception. The wedge styling was immediately polarizing. The engineering decisions beneath it were worse. The six-cylinder engine from the TR6 it replaced was dropped for a four-cylinder that produced less power and less character. Independent rear suspension was eliminated to save money. Build quality, under British Leyland management, was described by contemporary reviewers as ranging from poor to catastrophic, depending on the individual car. The TR7 was supposed to bring Triumph into the modern era. It ended the Triumph sports car story instead. Number 1. Morris Marina, 1971 to 1980. Number 1. Reliant Robin, 1973 to 2001. 3 wheels. That was the first decision. Everything else followed logically from there, or rather illogically. The Reliant Robin was a 3-wheeled microcar powered by a 750 cubic centimeter engine, built for buyers who wanted something cheaper than a proper car. What they got was something that could roll over during normal cornering. The single front wheel meant that weight distribution and handling were fundamentally compromised in ways no amount of tuning could fully correct. Taking a corner too quickly, a relative turn in a vehicle this slow, could lift the front wheel and tip the car onto its side. Top Gear famously demonstrated this repeatedly on television. The Robin remained in production from 1973 to 2001, a 28-year run that reflected the loyalty of a specific British buyer, rather than any objective improvement in the product. It is remembered today as the car that proved 3 wheels are not better than 4.